Like I was in stereo, then it was a bit weird because I had it going on my phone as well. Hello everyone, I hope everyone is well, doing alright, and everyone keeping good. I'll give you some updates quickly and then we'll get on talking with Don. We have Don back, Don Strauss back with us again this time round, and we've got some cool news to give you all, but bear with me 2 seconds, I just need to check some stuff that I've been told to remind everyone. So I'll just run through some updates. We're all busy working on some cool stuff. I've just been told to let you all know there are a handful of D&D jerseys just gone on the site. This wonderful piece of work here has just gone on the site. So if anyone that missed out want to head over there and try and pick one up, like now's the time. But some have just gone up. I don't know exactly how many. And then also remember, just a reminder, there's still some Kevin Smith Reapers jerseys on the site for sale. If anyone wants to go and pick one of those up as well, go and pick one up. It's a cool jersey. And then the other stuff I'll tell you afterwards. I haven't got any production updates, but I will have production updates to put on to the Facebook fan group page this week at some point. I'm actually on holiday this week, so I'm like working through it, which my wife's not overly pleased about. What can you do? Work calls. But anyway, so we're back with Don today. Hello, Don. How are you?
Good, Andy. How about yourself, sir?
Not too bad. It's been, for lack of a better word, pissing with rain all day, but it's now got clearer. But it's the evening, so what can you do? But no, they're not doing too badly. Like I said, I'm off a week off, just chilling out, relaxing, still working, and even though it's a week off, I'm trying to paint and do millions of other things with the family, but doing all right myself. And yourself, how are you? How is Canada? Where you're
Canada right now is really, really warm, or at least this part of Canada is. Sun's blazing, and
nice.
Temps are right up there as well. This is what we've been waiting for. So.
Yeah, that's what everyone makes. So are you busy at the moment? Lots of masks on the go?
It's not so much masks. A lot of other studio work.
Yeah, cool.
But it's more hectic than I care for it to be. It's, not as much time to hang out with the pooches, but I'd like to. So.
Yeah, it sounds like as busy as I am. That's cool. So we got Don back on because we mentioned this a while back. I'll say a while back. It's been a while, just getting everything sorted. But we're going to be doing the goalie helmet giveaway, which I've got to remember exactly. I've got all the rules in front of me here. That's reminding me. The graphics are all done. Everything's ready to go out. So that'll be going out, posted next week. I've been told. But so to run through what the plan is with this is that the winner will be able to pick any jersey that we have in stock. They will get a copy of that jersey, and then we'll supply a mask to Don, and Don is going to paint a design based on that jersey. So you can either, or the other thing is you can pick a jersey in your collection that you have that Don do a design around. I'm just reading it as I'm talking.
Okay.
And then you either, if you don't play hockey or you're not a goalie, you have a really beautiful art piece. If you are a goalie and you want to wear it and play, then you'll have a great helmet as well to match your jersey in beer league and stuff. So
nice.
and the bonus is it's a Don Strauss goalie helmet. Like, I mean, these things are quality, and it'll be a one of a kind helmet as well, which will be amazing.
That it will be, yes, certainly a one of.
Yeah, so it'll be very much a one-off helmet that no one else will have, and I'm sure just thinking about it, it'd be probably worth a lot of money to collect your collectors out there, Don. So someone will be sitting on a future gold mine. Potentially, but don't go flipping it because that'll be rude. But yeah, so that'd be really cool. I'm looking forward to seeing how that all pans out and anyone who wins, but what design they pick and then what you come up with as well based around that would be awesome. But,
it's going to be fun. I think we've both been, or at least I know I have been fielding a bunch of private messages and information.
I have as well. Yeah.
As to different ideas some have had and wishes and wants. So it's, I know there's been a handful of people that have reached out to me that are really excited about this, and everybody's anxious to, is it going yet? Is it going yet? And,
bear me a second.
And I guess no, Andy, come back. No, don't leave.
Sorry, Cat got stuck in the room. He had to leave. But no, it'd be awesome. I've had.
It's gonna be.
It's going to be awesome. I've had a lot of the same. I've had messages be like, "When's it happening? When's it happening?" It's like it's going, it's working. Don't worry, I'm sorting it out. Took a while to get the graphic to work. I had to change like formats and things, and then I tried some stuff, and then Sean was like, "No." The boss was like, "No, it needs to look spectacular." I was like, "All right, I can do spectacular. Let's try some more stuff and get more things in there." But it works now. And some of it was kind of like hierarchical problems. I was like, "No, the hierarchy doesn't work. We need to say this and move this here and stuff." But it looks good. So yeah, once we get out there, and then downside is we will be pumping this around to goalie forums and stuff, and because we want many people involved in this as well. So I know that GGSU, which is a big goalie forum, it's been mentioned on. Someone mentioned it on there, and so I've had a message from someone there saying like, "When's it happening?" And I was like, "It's soon. Don't worry." So we have to post it there as well. But yeah, so this is a big thing for one, our collectors, but two, goalies in general, because you are a huge name in that realm. So people love it.
It was a great idea when it was originally discussed. It hits on so many different levels, from, as you mentioned, the collectible side of stuff to the obvious connection to the goalies, the hockey players, the artwork that goes back and forth between the two. It's a pretty cool combination. We just anxious to see what the end result is going to be.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing what the end result will be. It'll be a thing of beauty, regardless. Whatever design they pick, it'll be awesome. So, but if we'll have this conversation later. But I assume any artwork you need from us or anything you need, high res stuff you need to work from us, I can supply that because I have it all.
Yeah, you know a guy, right?
Yeah, I know this guy that's got all his artwork. It's amazing.
If I know it was bring your pet to work day.
I know. Well, he just it's that time of day. He wants to come have a cuddle. They need to be fed soon, so they're going to be like stalking around me, sizing me up. If they can't get fed, they'll eat me. I swear, one of them. You have the story about a snake. A woman had a snake, and every day she'd wake up and it was laying full length next to her. And then she went to the vets, and the vets was like, "Yeah, I wouldn't let that snake out again because it's sizing you up to see if it can eat you." You know what I mean? I swear that's what they do. In the mornings I wake up and he's laying full length next to me, and I'm like, I swear he's just figuring out if he can actually fit me or eat me.
He'll fit, yeah.
But he just wants a cuddle. He's going to probably disappear in a minute. You know, he's staying or not? If in the terms of the Geeky Jerseys live, what was it, bingo that John Chase created? Shout out to John Chase today, by the way. He's having something done at the hospital, and hopefully it goes all right. Oh, sorry, I don't know if you want me to mention that, but I hope it goes all right, John. I forgot what I was going to train of thought now. Yeah, so they've got this bingo game based on the Geek Jersey Lives. So if I say get a license, you have to get a license. Well, basically, if this is a drinking game, if I have to get a license, they have to take a drink. If a cat turns up, they have to drink.
Yes.
If I say I don't know, I'll find out or can get a license, they have to drink. So there's all these. John, I think John created the bit. He called it bingo, and I was like, it's just a drinking game. Just call it a drinking game. That's what it is. People get totally hammered. If I'm on for an hour, people are going to be wasted by the end because I just mentioned all these things. It'd be funny.
Cheers.
Yeah. So we're looking forward to the competition. Is going to be good. I'm not exactly sure how long we're running it for, but that will obviously be in all the information once we put it out there. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I haven't really got much to show people. We've got lots of stuff going on at the moment. Lots of He-Man stuff being submitted. A few He-Man designs being submitted. Oh Christ! I'm trying to think what else I've done last week. Joe's G.I. Joe stuff being submitted. Lots of cool G.I. Joe stuff coming. What else was there? I'm trying to get something finished for tomorrow because it's the first of the month. Good stuff. I've got to try and sneak that in somewhere. I've got one thing. I did a chestbuster design ages ago, which I've either got to try and figure that out this evening, or we got a backup which might be a bit quicker for me to sort out. What else is it? New Transformers designs. Got another one of them pretty much finished. Just got to change a bit here and there on that. There's tons of stuff. Tons of stuff. Oh, John's just sent me a photo of the bingo, so I've got all the words here. So Andy starts late, so I started late, so people have a drink.
There's one.
the Mac is slow. Well, the Mac's not slow; it's a quick one, but it did have to get. I did have to update loads of stuff. Internet issues. Yeah, everyone will be hammered by the time we're finished. But Jay isn't making an appearance today, unfortunately.
Oh no.
So that one's on there. I have some secret awesome news. I do have secret awesome news. So yeah, I'll just go through this list. It's funny. Everyone will just be hammered. But yeah, we've got loads of stuff going on. Lots of cool license stuff coming up. I know I keep getting messaged and buzzed on Facebook about Jaws jersey and Back to the Future, which at the time they I've explained this multiple times. I'll explain this now again. We'll get back on talking. But they were approved, but then they had to go back for additional approvals from the studios because obviously there's not one approval process with those. They have to actually go to the people that own the producers, the production studios and stuff. So they had to go to them. So we're waiting on them to come back to us. So things we have made a tiny amend to the Amityville Sharks one, but it doesn't affect the design. It was more of a slight change. But yeah, we're just waiting for those to come back. Big Lebowski's got signed off by Jeff Bridges, no less, which is pretty cool.
Yes.
Because he has the final approval on that. So that's all signed off and being run at the moment, which people saw photos for Instagram of them being embroidered. So that's all being sorted. So yeah, so we're just waiting for those two to be done. I know I had to make an ambling patch for Back to the Futures yesterday. So that's clearly that if we're making the tags to go in the back next, it's clearly in the works. Yeah, and I'm trying to think what else there is. There's too much stuff. There's so much stuff going on this week. I've got a list of things that we're working through. We've got more D&D designs, which we saw last time out. Someone saw the Trevor's Geek Jerseys live. Everyone saw the Gelatinous Cube design. But we've got another one in the works for that. Well, another two. One I'm working on and someone else is working on another, which I've actually got to email them later about. Yeah, so we've got tons of things in the works. Right. So I might have just broken some super secret awesome news to people. And there are more Kevin Smith things coming as well. Zombies should be released this week, maybe next, I think. We're just waiting on something to come back. So you've been watching the playoffs at all, Don? Or I remember you saying you're not big into hockey.
It's probably one of the best known secrets out there. Yeah,
I think it's genius. You found a niche in the market making these awesome designs, but just don't watch hockey.
I'm almost embarrassed to say, just have never been a hockey fan, never watched it on. When I was building gear, I would occasionally sit down and see how some of my guys were doing. Yeah. But never rushed home on a Saturday night to watch the hockey games. And I think if you laid $100 bill on the table right now and asked me who was playing yet this in the season so far, that'd be $100 you could fold back up and put it back in your pocket. I couldn't even tell you who did it.
To be fair, I don't think I know Toronto failed to get. Well, it was funny. My mates flew out to watch Game 5 in Toronto. They flew out for like 48 hours, watched Game 5, caught up with the guy we know who lives over there now, and then flew back. And literally, by the time they got back the day after, I think they'd played Game 6 and they'd got knocked out in Game 7. It was like, well, it was a great. They had a great trip. It's just a shame that the Leafs didn't get through. It's crazy, but they can never win a Game 7, have they? For the last 10 years or something. But after that, I'm not actually sure who's playing. I know Edmonton are doing well. I'm rooting for Edmonton because I've always they just always seem to never get there or just fail. So I'm kind of rooting for Edmonton to go through. But we'll see how that pans out. Conor McDavid scoring ridiculous goals as usual. But I'm trying to think what else there was. Sorry, I'm all big caught on the hop today. It's like, even though I knew this was happening 3-4 days ago, I'm like, because I'm not working, I'm just not in it with questions. I should have prepared more questions for you. Don, tell me some interesting stuff and things you're working on and what kind of stuff you're doing. I think that's what we like to hear. Answer questions.
Mostly it's a lot of, I guess there's a bit of a backlog in some industrial design pieces, kind of other builders I work with that are fabricating cool bits that drop the parts off here for an interesting refinish before they go off to final assembly. I would say there's not 2 days here that are generally the same. I know I've got a steering wheel out of an older classic a 57 Chev, if it matters, but there's a steering wheel that's being in line to be refinished, and yeah, some lighting fixtures, and just it's a real odd mix of everything from, I say, helmets to industrial stuff to
Yeah, it's cool.
light fixtures to automotive deals. It's
So it's quite vast
yeah,
and broad, the things that you get to work on.
it is. It has changed a lot since, well, probably in the last 30 years, where it was a real specialty as I was manufacturing, and then switched up to just predominantly painting automotive race helmets. And over the years, I don't want to say diversified, but we changed the pace a little bit. Wanted to stay around home a little bit more and not travel as much, and just had a bit of a readjustment to the quantity and the pace in which things happen here. So it's something like this project that you've prepared or got cooked up. It's going to fit in nice. I'll have I don't imagine there'll be a high amount of stress to it, where I can sit down and fabricate the idea and have it fit in properly to the right mass.
Yeah.
It's what I'm looking forward to. It'll be a bit of a throwback to the way things used to be, as far as coming up with a team concept. And even though it is a blank sheet of paper, it still has to fit within the name of the jersey or the team of the jersey, and the imagery and the concept. So it'll be a lot of fun, just tying all the 4 or 5 different elements together.
No, it'd be cool. It'd be good to see. I think I mentioned this before, but like, good to see the process of it. Also, like, because it'd be a good Instagram story. But always thinking social media. But like seeing the process all the way through, like from the sketches and the concept and the rough drawings and ideas, and how you're going to take that and adjust it. Because like anything like how I sometimes have to work, you have it sketched out, and you a lot of stuff we do is pretty much finished to like properly finished in the Procreate before I put it to vectorial. But there's times when you put it to vectorial, you're like, oh, actually, I'm going to adjust this one here, because actually looking at it now and as I build it, it's like, oh, it doesn't really work. I'm going to shift this and move this here. And I assume the same kind of thing when you're spraying the mask. Like, you might, as you're kind of plotting it on the mask, it's like, oh, actually, that doesn't really work there. I'm going to shift it to here. Because I assume you work on like a flat template for a mask. I'm drawing it in my hands, I don't know. But you work on a flat template for a mask, and then have the cutout, and then work around that, draw around that template. Then you got to put that into a 3D visual, like, because obviously if you work from the middle, you'll take one side and work on it and then join it up. But you have to work on it in a 3D kind of. I'm using my hands a lot. Working it, sort of like working it like a very, then take that flat 2D design into a very practical 3D kind of into a 3D helmet, which would be quite crazy.
Yeah, it's something that's been part of my daily routine for for in excess of 30 years. And I know it's something some people struggle with that work entirely in 2D or in a computer-based world, and transferring an idea or to get a concept, to sketch it out in 2D, but then to be able to transfer it onto a 3D piece becomes a challenge for some folks. I know I use the templates and the outline, or I guess the outline of the masks, as just a template to play in and sketch in, to just formulate ideas. More often than not, I might get a quarter of a way through the idea to lay it out into that format or into that framework on paper, and I'll stop when the idea hits. My thought is it's a horrific waste of time for me to keep on sketching and coloring and erasing and sketching again on a 2D piece of paper that will either be tossed away or stuck up on a shelf. Once the idea hits, I've got to run with it. It goes directly on the sketch. Hey, kitty. It gets sketched directly onto the mask at that point. And then while it's going on, with using either pencils or marker or tape lines to track it out. That's where you can make a fine, I guess a bit of a fine call or an audible, change something at the last minute if it need be. But I guess it's just a format that I'm so familiar working with that you can see it in your head, and I know you can with working with some of your vector art as well. You know what the end result is going to be,
Yeah.
and it's frustrating, but you've got to race through the middle steps to get to the end spot that you see in your head. So
yeah, that's
and
it.
that's why I don't goof around with it much on the paper. Once the concept is there, everything lines up, and the templates that I sketch on are more often than not photographs of the mask I'm working on.
Yeah.
Because when I used to solely paint my own product, it was pretty easy. I only had one.
Yeah, you knew the layout. You know your mask. You know what you do work. You know where the curves are, where dips are, where things might look prospectively out, and things like that to make it work.
But since I've set the manufacturing aside and just paint, or to say just paint, but am resigned to only painting, I get different brands, different models, different canvases, so to speak, in front of me, and they're all a little bit different.
Yeah,
and
so
it
Bauer have
affects-
got these weird curves, and some of them that kind of quite sharp. They come up sharp and dip up sharp again, don't they, and stuff. And I can imagine I'm trying to think of other brands now. Goalie helmets. The CCM ones are slightly different as well.
they all have their own look, and that you physically can tell them apart. It's
because the holes are all
for
in different
some-
places as well, aren't they? And some of them, like the position of like the air vent holes and stuff.
the vent holes.
Yeah,
and everybody has them, but they're in different spots. Some are different shapes, and you need to be aware of that as you're working the design through. If you're painting something with holes in it, you're going to lose some of your imagery.
Yeah. You don't want an important piece running through a hole.
Yes, so you got to be careful where things get situated.
Yeah, that's cool. No, it's very
by
interesting.
doing the layout on, for me, a photograph of the actual part.
You actually draw it on the photo, so you get digital photo and print it out. And draw it on
I start with a photo and then overexpose it and computer manipulate it that it's very, very high contrast, and then print out a bunch of those.
Because that would give you the shadows as well, where you need, so you know where the dips are and stuff. Yeah, that's cool. That's a good idea, actually.
So when the mask gets here, I'll lay it up in a makeshift studio and get a photograph of it from the angles that I feel I need, and then shoot it in high contrast and tweak it and then print it accordingly. So
that's cool.
Make my own sketch pads.
Yeah. No, it'd be good to see. Like I said, it's good to see that process. And like even where you because you mentioned about drawing out the mask, and you might use like markers and stuff to plot where things are going. That's interesting. Like I love that kind of stuff. But it's like that's interesting to me how like obviously you take that side of that mask and you're plotting from your sketch. Because again, you're plotting from say a photo that size onto something this size, and then you're having to then take that from that scale into this scale. But no, because like there's obviously one way. Well, way you talk when you draw at school, you like use a grid, and you have a photo with the same grid on a smaller size, and you would figure out that kind of thing. But I can imagine it being like kind of you literally redrawing what you've already drawn onto a bigger mask, but then obviously with them curves and them dips and the holes and you said where you make them slight adjustments and changes. I just love that kind of stuff. I remember years ago I went to a comic convention. I collect if I ever go to comic conventions, I try and get sketches where I can. And there's a guy who creates a comic called The Savage Dragon, Eric Larson. Some people might know he is on the chat, but he was at a convention over here, and I went and like people already tapped him up for sketches. I didn't get a sketch from him. I got him to sign some stuff. I didn't get sketches, but I spent a good hour watching him draw. It was really creepy. I was just standing there watching him draw. But it was like, it's really what I find interesting is watching his process of how he built stuff. I love watching when you see on Instagram people doing sketches and stuff. And you see him like comic artists doing sketch, and they start in the middle with just like a nose, and it builds outwards into this magnificent drawing. And I just sat and watched him draw for hours, and because reading something in an article interview of his years ago, like kind of had an idea of how he constructs stuff. But this was years and years before I saw this. But just watching him draw is like it was so interesting, and how he structured certain bits and the cheap the cheap trick routes he got through to draw certain elements. And things you're like, I never thought of doing it that way. That's quite clever, actually. But that's like years and years of experience being able to do that kind of thing. But like I was saying, I imagine I'd love to see like that process of like drawing from the mask on the mask and stuff as well, and like how that's structured, and then you, like you said, make audibles here and there in case there's a fine tuning and things. But yeah, seeing that kind of process, I just love that kind of stuff. It sounds really sad, but I love it.
No, it
Keeps
goes the
them
same
true.
way the other way for what I say. The ones I've seen of you working either with whether it was Illustrator or Procreate, as you were creating imagery and the different steps involved. It's
Yeah, we need to actually. You're saying
tools
that.
that I don't get to use.
Yeah, saying that, I need to actually probably do. We need to do more little videos like that. I've got tons of stuff I could probably put out from Procreate, because Procreate records as you're drawing, so you can just go back and press play and it just plays it through. So we've got tons of things like that we could probably show, to be honest. I have to go back. It's just been too busy to organise it.
If you get that kind of thing set up, let me know. I'll be one of the people watching.
Yeah, no, for sure. But no, it's because I used to put it on my own Instagram. Like, it's quite, because like it's funny, social media stuff on Instagram. Like, people, I tend to like, I think the Judge Dredd jersey and the Judge Dredd logo on my Instagram are probably the two most liked images I've had on my Instagram ever. Like, in the space of like 48 hours, like it was like hundreds, and I'm like, oh my god, I have fair few following, but if you look at engagement, them 100 likes is actually really good engagement for the amount of people that follow me and stuff. But like, but it's weird. I've had stuff before where I've put out a logo. I'm really pleased with it. It looks really good, and it's tight and a solid logo, and you get like 20 likes. And then I put out a really shitty sketch of something, or like something on Procreate that I was just messing about with, and people are like, yeah, it's amazing, 200 likes, and it's like, well, that just makes no sense. That's some shitty sketch, and that's like finished piece of work, but you like the sketch more than you like the finished piece. What the hell? But it's just because people that I follow and people for me like to see that kind of stuff. It's the development and the route through of things that people like to see. It's like sorry, I'm rambling now, but it's like with some of I do a lot of people around this, but I do a lot of UX design and accessibility work for educational websites and things. So accessibility in education is huge for websites and so forth. But we have a lot of stuff where it's interesting. We have it a different kind of way. We have sketches and things, but we keep set of boards on a website on a program we use. But we keep these boards, but we make new ones every time. So you see this, we've got this evolution of this design that we're working on, the experience we're working on. So, but it's interesting when you see all that planned out. Like, you see it start from like early ideas to the final thing, but you have this journey throughout. And it's like with the sketches, it's the same kind of thing. You kind of have that process like throughout the whole thing, but then you have the final piece. But it's interesting to see where you started and where you ended up, and all the gaps in between that people like to see, that because it's like it shows your train of thought and where you ended up and how you got to that place. And that's I find that hugely interesting, just because because I'm creative, but it's just you find that stuff kind of interesting. Sorry, Don.
Yeah, no, it'll be a little bit of a different exercise for me for this operation, because more often than not, as I mentioned, when I work through it, the sketch may just consist of 3 or 4 lines as far as getting a placement, or it's almost like the old shorthand that secretaries used to take, and it looked like gibberish to anybody else, but it was all just a mash of symbols and curls. And when I would do my sketches, I don't know that it would mean a lot. If someone was looking over my shoulder and saw the sketch and realized that I stopped at that point and then fast forwarded to the finished product, there would be a lot of confused people looking at that. They just didn't know how they would get from here to there. So with this event, I think I'll probably need to purposely pay attention to the steps in between and photograph them as they go through. Yeah. I've never worked with video. So I think people will get a lot of still images as far as steps.
Well, that kind of thing, that's cool. Still images is always good. It's I even forget now to film. Like, there's sometimes because I can record straight from the Mac, and I always say, sure, yeah, I'll do a recording of me doing Illustrator stuff, and we'll put it on YouTube, and people can see the design, and I'll talk through it and things. And then I completely forget because I forget to turn the screen recorder on. It's literally only a click. I only got to click something to turn it on, but I just forget to do it. or the time lapse program I use. I forget to turn that on. I've done it all and gone, I forgot to turn the screen thing on. It's like, oh, you idiot. Because like then people are missing out on this. There's some really good. There's loads of good content we could have put over the years if I'd actually pressed the button and pressed play to record it. It's like ridiculous.
No, I think the process is because I enjoy it as much as you do as far as going and seeing other artists create. I think that's a really cool process, and a fan of old Warner Brothers stuff that I've got some like a Cells from the actual cartoons from back in the,
cool.
the 60s
Yeah, that's
and
cool.
70s. So I was kind of reminded of that when it was probably 2 years ago at least. We did some house cleaning, up through the attic that had boxes from when we had moved in, and took my old shop and moved it into the house, and we just started working out of a house rather than my wife and I working out of 3 separate buildings or living and working. We just brought everything into one, and there was boxes stashed away that hadn't been opened in 15 years since we had moved in. So there was a lot of, I guess, buried treasure from back in the mask day that I dug out, and they were some of the sketches and the marker renderings and the original doodles that I did of my logos over the years, and some of it was put up on Instagram and had a little bit of a garage sale.
I was going to say, I bet you could sell those to you collectors and stuff for a load of money, because like
it surprised me the amount of interest that it gathered.
Yeah, for sure.
The reminder was, I'm glad I didn't throw anything out from back.
Well, the thing is, if you're anything like me, like I've got folders. There's folders in the loft. There's folders down here. Like obviously everything I draw digitally now. Okay, I still draw in sketchbooks, but I've got tons and tons of sketchbooks in the loft, and we put some more in the week over the weekend. But I've got a folder full of sketches or ideas for jerseys. But as soon as I move to like working on the iPad more, which saves me tons of time, it's like I have digital files, all that stuff, but I don't have like physical drawn out sketches and things and stuff.
Right.
Occasionally draw stuff in biro roughly to get an idea of a layout, but that's about it really. I think I was drawing a Mimic jersey. I think we mentioned a Mimic last time, I think, for D&D. But I was just drawing something out when we were talking then. So I've got layouts for that and stuff, and how that could work. But that's everything's on the iPad now. Although saying that though, I love finishing stuff on the iPad because it gives me, I can pretty much do a finished rendering like it would look vector-wise on the iPad and not have to touch Illustrator. There have been times, i.e. the Dude's jersey, the original one, the actual mock-ups for that is actually a drawing from Procreate, just put into Photoshop on the mock-up because I didn't have time to vector it, and I vectored it later.
Right.
But sometimes I have to do that. But then I managed to finish them at such a point that they're that tight that I can do that with them. That makes sense. So I can port it across and be like, well, we can do this for this now, and then even we've sent some presentations the same thing where I've drawn things up and we've sent it to license holders because they're not going to see the actual vector files; they're just going to see very well finished renders.
Finished image.
But they get the idea, so it works. So I think I think I mentioned before, I'm working on Judge Death jersey for 2000 AD, which I sent for reapproval today because there's some changes. But the original for that, I sent them, because they're a comic book company, they can see roughs and sketches all the time, so they get the premise. So I sent a pose to them, like drawn out, fairly rough, like near finished, but just to get feedback because just because it was like the pose and things of Judge Death. But then, and they fed back and went, no, his face needs to change because his mouth is open. They're like, no, it's more teeth gritted rather than mouth open and stuff. So I was like, cool, that's fine. And they sent me reference, and I redrew it from that. So sometimes that process helps because they're seeing the early ideas and they see where we're going. But it's kind of like, I just need some pointers in terms of, I've never really had to draw Judge Death before for no other reason other than for fun. And when you're doing it for fun, you can do what the hell you want with it because it's your idea. But when it's actually something that has to be pretty comic accurate, I need them pointers to say, right, is this where it's going, or does it need to be adjusted slightly? So it's quite interesting. So my initial point was, I've rambled on about something else, but my initial point was I used to keep lots of paper, and I think there's a folder down here full of sketches. Obviously, they won't sell for anything, probably what you sold your sketches for, unless our collectors really want them. But they are like tatty pieces of paper, most of them.
Very cool. No, I guess one of the differences in what you and I have done is that I generally only have to please myself, and very seldom do I send out a pre-sketched to any of my clients.
Mm.
They send me their gear and say, just do something. Not quite that simple. We have our conversations, but it's it's for me just to formulate my ideas or to compile the thoughts, not to send out for approvals in any way. Probably the shark mask behind me, as the folklore has it, what was doodled on a cocktail napkin, the original concept before the team was even announced. That came out pretty much on just a yay big piece of tissue paper.
Yeah,
it's the sketch of that, and then I crumpled it and put it in my pocket. Drove back to my studio, and then the following week took that napkin sketch and turned it into the artist proof of the one that I've got behind me here. So there's again, the sketches for me have just been conceptual, more so than finished art.
Yeah.
But I'll try to up my game a little bit here for this one and come up with something throughout the different stages of it to, I guess, show more of the process that we're working on.
So I'll Sean said to show you this, but I'll show it as a process. I wonder if that's going to work. Give me a second. So one of the things we're working on is a new Slashers jersey. So this is how my sketches happen now. People might be able to see it. Let me just go. Oh no, so that. Oh, hang on. I don't want to delete it. Christ, can't Procreate. I don't know if people see it. So that's like sketch with Michael Myers. But but the irony is, I use a digital pencil brush to draw like pencil on something I could probably draw in pencil. Do you know what I mean? But then obviously I've rendered that into now. So this is what this. So this is where we're kind of at with it at the moment. But it needs to finish it off. Hang on a second. Yeah. Oh shit!
And you know they've got pencils for that, right?
I know, yeah. You know what I mean? But that's where I'm at with it. Obviously, the background is up for debate at the moment. I haven't figured that bit out, but that's the actual picture of Michael Myers that I've done. But again, it's finding reference for that stuff.
Very cool, yeah.
Photo reference, and then there's something else I'm doing. I'm doing something for a friend where it's for the local gaming club where I play 40k. People know I play 40k, but they want like a Space Marine Outrider sketch of a guy on a bike, and I'm like, right, well I can find photo reference online, but actually I'm just going to get my model, position it how I want it, get the angle I want, take that photo, and then draw from that because it's much easier. But it's finding reference online of things and finding the right light. And sometimes I've got a Darth Vader figure over there, which I think when we did one of Darth Vader jerseys, just couldn't get the right light. So I actually just got the lamp and put it around it. It's like, where's the best? Where am I getting the best highlights from? And it's like, right, that position here, I'll just take a photo of that with my phone and I'll use that as a reference because I was getting the best, like, kind of like, well, Darth Vader's helmet's got obviously curves, like some like angular bits on it, but the way the light's hitting give me good return on highlighted areas. So when you do that in a black, like say black and grayscale and white, that gives you a better output because like it looks more like a shiny helmet that he's wearing rather than just being like a flat piece of artwork. With no
black on black is kind of tough.
Yeah, so you have to go like the slightly darker greys and then find them. When you do them from in terms of embroidery, it's finding that right kind of thread that's going to be that kind of black greyish colour. And sometimes it's hard to find, so you kind of well, actually, do we ditch that thread and just go straight to the like a slightly lighter grey? And so there's all these kind of things to consider, which are things. Someone saying, should I sell my sketches? No one wants my sketches. They're shit, and they're on the iPad. But I can print them out for people. But
very cool.
No, it's good. Well, I was going to ask you. Someone mentioned on the chat ask you about the guitar work you've been doing, and as a guitar player myself, that is a very good question because I'm interested to hear about that.
Guitars for me are probably a little better than hockey. I am actually just in love with the instrument.
Do you play?
With what I do, music drives 90% of my workspace, and I have interest in all different 90% of the different venues or the genres of music out there. There's a wide eclectic collection. But the guitar itself is a piece of art. It creates art. It is a visual piece of art. It's sculpture. It's finish art, and I am just enthralled with that item. I don't play. I have a cousin who plays professionally, and a bunch of friends that do. I have refinished many of them over the years, and have a couple in my collection. But I guess it'd be like someone collecting a painting, but not knowing how to paint.
Yeah. No, it's an art. It's an art piece. It does.
Absolutely.
I think you're right. What you're saying it is a piece of art. Oh, some camera does fetching.
Ooh, hang on.
Yeah, it is a piece of art. It's like I play the guitar. And I've got a gig on Sunday because Queen's Jubilee this weekend, so we're playing a Jubilee party on Sunday. But I play all right. Like, still make mistakes, but I'm not professional, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, it is very much an art piece. It's like the last guitar I bought one because it plays well. Two, it looks really nice. But like I think it's like it's interesting what you said there. It's like it's a piece of art. Someone's created this piece of art, and then that piece of art creates another style of art or creativity, and then but then for that person but every person will create something different with that piece of art. So, I mean, it's go and take me down a rabbit hole. It's a very interesting concept. I've never thought of it that kind of way, but it's very interesting.
And certainly the memories that are attached to the visual, the visual triggers a sound. It triggers a deep memory on things. It has a level of just a melodic bounce to some, depending what memory it brings up.
Yeah, no, it's totally.
So it is well beyond just a chunk of wood. It's a sculpted piece of vision or sculpted piece of artwork that, as you say, creates another piece of audio art.
Yeah.
And it's so many different layers of it, and
that's a cool way of thinking about it. I like that. That's good. But I think you're right. It does. It creates memories. Like, I think the first time, my brother used to be a metal, well, lack of a better word, he used to be well into heavy metal when he was younger. So I was brought up on a lot of like Metallica or Iron Maiden, but other really heavy stuff like Anthrax and Sepultura and Pantera and shit like that. So I had a good bringing of we call it, Jay's not here today, but me and my wife call it a musication because it's like a musical education. And so I'm a big Red Hot Chili Peppers fan, but I like the new stuff, but the stuff that I really like is like Mother's Milk album, Blood Sugar Sex Magic album, and the kind of stuff after that up until the point, and then further forward. But that's the stuff I really love. But then I love their earlier stuff as well that a lot of people don't really like, but I like a lot of that because I like I love funk music, so it's kind of like that kind of drive of funk and like rock together kind of thing. So I like that fusion of it, and so Jay, like I said, Jay's not here today, but as Jay was growing up, I would say me and his mum have got good music taste. It's all right. I listen to a lot of variety stuff, but it's majority kind of like indie music, rock music, and things like that. So Jay over the years has picked up our kind of taste in music, and now I'll get in his car and he's playing Chili Peppers albums from like way back when. It's like good choice. We're even going to see them at the end of the month actually in London. But then them Chili Pepper albums for me, like John Frusciante playing them albums, like sparks loads of memories for me as a kid. Like first hearing that type of music and being like, I love this is totally playing into my like wheelhouse with this stuff. I love it. And I didn't learn to play the guitar until quite late on, because my brother again is a metal, but he was in bands and stuff as well. So there was always guitars in around the house. I was playing hockey at the time, and I'd done something to my leg, so I was out for about 6 months. And because there's guitars in the house, like right, I'm picking up the guitar, I'm going to learn to play it. Bought an Oasis chord book and learned loads of Oasis songs. So that tells you how long ago that was. But yeah, it's kind of like when I listen to that music now, especially racing music, when I listen to that stuff now, like it sparks those memories of me learning to play the guitar and like trying to figure my hands out. Like Sean's learning to play at the moment. He started learning to play over lockdown. And good message from him. I can't hold these bar chords. They're killing my hands. It's like, yeah, try this, and this. This might work. And he's like, I can't quite get this thing. I was like sending videos of me playing it, going, do this. This will work. But but it's like it's like listening to that music reminds me of like learning to play, and then listening to the Chili Pepper stuff reminds me of like falling in love with that type of music and how but it is all guitar based music, so it's an interesting thing. So I rambled a bit, but the point is it sparks memories, which is cool.
Yeah, and I have too much respect for it. I first off I know that it's going to be 20 years at least to become competent enough to not butcher all the songs that I've loved.
Yes.
So knowing that I don't have 2 hours a day for the next 20 years of my life to put into it, I'll enjoy to sit back and listen to all those who have put the effort in and have the talent to make those sounds. It just, I appreciate it too much to destroy it. And for work that I've done for various clients, part of the conversation or the interview process is I'll ask what music they listen to.
Yeah.
And I will then listen to those styles of music to try to put that vibe or that feel into the finished image. And it does translate as you're listening to it. You move in different ways. Your mind processes differently. So it's very helpful to get, or at least helpful for me, to get an understanding of who it is I'm working for and what their tastes are, and then try to use that in the translation for the finished piece.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. Like I said, like music relates to a lot of people artistically and their ideas and what they want to do as well. So it's quite interesting. There was something I was going to ask. I'm just checking to make sure I've got enough battery on the laptop. I've lost train of thought now. The cat just bit my hand. Stop biting me.
You got to feed the cat.
He wants attention. Well, yeah, I think that's part of it. But he wants attention as well. It's called it's not aggressive biting. It's petting aggression. It's called. So it's not done out of he's angry. He just likes to nibble on my hands when I'm stroking. He's got this one. This digressing something else. This cat here. This is Rocket. Rocket, you're going to lift up and look at everyone. Look. Say hello to Rocket. It's Rocket. And he's got this thing at the moment that he'll come and wake me up in the mornings. But what he would do is, at first I was like, God, stop waking me up. But what he does is, he comes and sits with me, and he wakes me up. So if I stroke him and I fall back to sleep, he kind of reaches out of his paw and slaps me in the face to wake me up. And I wake up like, get off. And then he's like, I stroke for a bit and I fall asleep again. And then I'll just wake up to this on my face with his paw. He's like, slaps me to wake me up. It's ridiculous. It's like, what are you doing? But it's like, and then if I don't wake up, he gets right up in my face with his nose. And he's like, fuck off, I'm asleep. It's like morning, leave me alone. It's a bloody animal. He is cool though. He's called Rocket because he looks like a raccoon.
Okay.
And so he looks like Rocket Raccoon, so he's like, they call him Rocket.
Perfect.
He's being pesting because he wants food. And there was something I was going to ask. I forgot what it was now. I lost my train of thought. So I'll update everyone that has joined early. The competition for Don's beautiful helmet that he's going to paint for the winner of the competition is going to go out next week. I'm not actually sure on all the details and what needs to be done. I think it's just a tag, like, and retweet thing, isn't it? I think. I'll have to ask. Sure.
I'm not sure. I was waiting for all the.
Yeah, I'm waiting for. I'm just waiting for
a skill testing question or a talent show.
Yeah, yeah. Not sure I'm just waiting for that question.
What they have to do.
Yeah. But there'll be another. I'll just say someone asked a question. Ren and Stimpy is shelved for the moment. May make a comeback at some point. Yeah, sorry, I just asked Chris. But yeah, so we'll find out information about how that's going to be done, and then we'll get it out there, and everyone can enter, and then we'll see where it takes us, and who wins, and what Don comes up with. So very, very interesting to see what happens. So very good. Looking forward to it. Right, I think I'm going to wrap it up there today. I haven't got it. I'll just quickly give a rundown. I haven't got any production updates for today just yet, but I'll post something on the fan group page once I've been sent that information. I did get sent something last week, or I did see something last week. No, I think that was on the Facebook group actually. But I know that John Chase keeps a very accurate record of what was released, when it was ended, and when it should be shipped. So he sends me stuff going, "But this stuff should be shipped soon." And I was like, "I've no idea. I don't work in logistics. Who knows?" I said I can ask.
Someone's keeping on top of it.
Yeah, I said I'll ask, but it's not. I colour in pictures. That's what I do. Right, I don't deal with shipping stuff to people. So yeah, so we'll get something out for that, and then the next time around we've got the quiz. The quiz was supposed to be today. I think we're moving that possibly to Friday, but as I mentioned, it's Queen's Jubilee, so I think I'm out Friday, and I don't think you'll want to see a drunk Andy doing a YouTube live because it's more sweary than normal when I drink.
It might be fun.
Could be fun. There'd be a lot of bad language. It might be like R rating for it. But yeah, so it probably be the quiz probably be next week. It might be next Tuesday. I just need to double check that, but the quiz will be next Tuesday. And I know Mike's got something cool lined up. It's cat in the way. Mike's got something cool lined up for that. And also, we will get on with that as well. The production updates I'll send out, and then hopefully I'll try and get some stuff together from Procreate, like sketches and things that we can put out, so you guys can see some of the ideas and things we're working on. I'm not sure. I'll have to just double check that and see if we can get that sorted. But yeah, that's about it for now, and we'll catch up with everyone soon. A drunk Andy could be fun. Not according to my wife though. Apparently I'm a pain in the ass. It goes one of two ways. I either talk a lot and swear, talk more than normal and swear a lot, or I get really tired and I just go, no, I want to go to sleep. Which is what happens generally now when I drink beer, because I don't drink that often. So I just drink beer and be like, oh, I'm really tired, I'm going to sleep. So, well, I'll end it all there, guys. I'll talk to you in a second, Don. Yeah, so quiz next week, and then after that we'll have another show. And I'm not sure who's going to be on, but we'll talk some more stuff, and I'll probably be able to show some more things as well coming up. So yeah, so have a good one, everyone. I'll catch you soon. Cheers.